In this first video about wishes and goals, the counselor explains confidentiality is reassuring and respectful with Claire's age in mind. He talks about her privacy and how it is handled with her parents. He also talks about how things are handled in the case of self-harm. They talk about 3 wishes, and Claire explains her wishes. She wishes for more time to focus on school and be prepared. She also wishes for a little sister to look up to her. She wishes her parents could retire sooner so they could spend more time together. The counselor helps her reflect. He is warm and summarizes what has been said. He gently interprets what Claire is saying so she can think deeper about what her wishes may mean. He helps her see a connection to her desire for achievement, desire to be closer to her family, and a desire for responsibility and connection. A theory I see here is person-centered theory by Carl Rogers. This theory follows showing empathy, unconditional positive regard, and genuineness. In the video, the counselor shows empathy with his reflective listening. He does not judge. He encourages Claire to do self-discovery. He does not give direct advice and lets Claire explore her own thoughts, emotions, and desires. I also see Alderian theory. The video follows Alderian theory as Claire reflects on her need for purpose, a way for her to contribute to her family, and need for security in relationships. Her desire for family connection as more time with her parents and wanting more responsibility within the family by wanting a little sister gives support to this theory. A biblical worldview would be helpful for Claire because it reinforces identity, purpose, and worth as God created her. It brings honor to family relationships, her gifts and talents. God provides support with emotional needs. A biblical view would help Claire understand that her worth is based on her identity in God and put less stress on her achievement or others' approval of her. Psalm 139, verse 14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Ephesians 6, 1-3 supports family connections of love, honor, and healthy relationships. This video has taught me the importance of starting each counseling session with trust, confidentiality, and safety. In the future, I can help minimize anxiety and create emotional security for clients. I also acknowledge how important and powerful simple, creative questions can be for clients. The 3 wishes activity can be a great tool for deeper emotional conversation that can open up concerns and the client is dealing with that the client is dealing with in a indirect way. In my future counseling career, I want to remember that storytelling, imagining wishes, and use of examples can be very useful when revealing someone's emotional needs. This is very helpful for children or can be also something that can be used with adults. Through watching this, I see how Christian counseling can support emotional healing and counseling with truth, love, and compassion. In this video, John tells Claire about a 3-step emotional change trick that will help her with hard to deal with emotions. They talk about steps of honor, experiencing the feeling she is feeling, thinking a different thought, doing something different, and spreading her good mood to others. John also tells her to teach someone else the strategy as an additional step. Claire has strong emotional awareness. She states that she gives herself time to process her emotions, usually before trying to feel better. Claire has healthy coping strategies as she likes to read, draw, talk to her friends, color, and play piano. She says that when she feels good and better about a situation, she develops a good mood of positivity and tries to spread her good mood to others by being helpful. She helps others by making dinner for her mother, spending time or sending people kind messages, and being kind rather than being negative. The counselor gives support to her emotional awareness and reinforces her in how she regulates her emotions so well. In this video, I see cognitive behavioral therapy as it teaches how behaviors are connected with feelings and cognitive processes. John, the counselor in this video, helps Claire understand her emotions by helping her see the link between her thinking and behavior. When Claire changes behaviors or thoughts between reading and reflection, or drawing, talking, and playing piano, she can replace negative thoughts with these positive thoughts and activities. When Claire decides to be kind to others instead of saying something not so nice, she is using cognitive restructuring and replacing her behaviors with better options. And this video is also displaying emotional regulation theory strategies because helping Claire be able to tolerate her emotions before trying to change them can help her process instead of suppressing her feelings right away. The scripture-based worldview gives a backbone to healthy regulation of emotions. The Bible teaches people to be honest about emotions and uphold their self-control. The Bible shows that emotions are real and people should acknowledge them. Spiritual maturity is shown through Christ-like behavior of self-control, being kind, encouraging, and helping others. Ephesians 4:26 says not to be angry, not to sin. This shows that emotions are not sinful, but the way a person responds matters. Galatians 5:23 is about the fruits of the Spirit. These are ways that people can radiate God's wonderful attributes that He gives to us. Claire's way of being kind and not impulsively reacting shows biblical emotional wisdom. This video taught me that counseling does not always involve long, drawn-out interventions. Some things can be handled in a simple and easy-to-process way. These simple tricks can be very effective for clients. I have learned that regulating emotions starts with validating emotions and feelings and not directly trying to correct everything right away. Clients need to feel listened to, sometimes feel that they need permission to feel before they are ready to change. I want to use this video as a reminder to help clients build good coping skills that they can use on their own, if need be. In my future counseling practice, I want to show support to clients as they discover that emotions are not problems for them to get rid of, but something they can reflect on and understand. In this video, What's Good About You is used and questions are asked to help Claire see the positive qualities in herself. John asks Claire the same question 10 times, "What's good about you?" She is not allowed to repeat the same answer twice. Claire talks about good things about her. Claire says she is kind, avoids drama with her friends, likes making cards for others, can get used to change easily, is loyal, enjoys her relationships with her family, makes good connection with adults, is driven in track, knows right from wrong, is a thoughtful giver, and gives genuine compliments. Claire starts with curiosity, thinking if there are many good things about her. She reflects on this. The counselor helps her see her effort, kindness, responsibility, creativity, and the care she has for others. The counselor helps her summarize the session, reflecting positive psychology by focusing on her strengths, resilience, and well being rather than only problems. The counselor helps Claire see her value, her strengths, her motivations, her emotional strength, her healthy mental and personal traits. This session helps Claire build self-esteem and long-term emotional health. The What's Good About You video session follows Alderian theory because it has a focus on belonging, how Claire contributes to her family and surroundings, and her social interests. Claire has a focus on helping others. She works on family relationships and cares about her friendships. This shows her desire for deep connection and life purpose. It is clear that she tries and strives for growth and meaning in her life. A biblical view would say God has created each person to have value, purpose, and gifts. A biblical view would help Claire find identity in Christ and what Christ wants for her. Use her talents and gifts in a purposeful way. Find value in serving others and with kindness, ability to self-reject with humility. Ephesians 2:10 says we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for his good works. A biblical view can help Claire see that her creativity and kind heart are gifts given by God for her to help others. Romans 12:6 also shows that it is meaningful to use personal gifts faithfully. Claire can discover that Christian counseling helps her surrender burdens to the Lord, and she can use her talents and humility and strength. This video taught me that some people have more difficulties with pinpointing their strengths than they do with talking about their problems. It shows in this video that Christian counseling that focused on strengths is incredibly powerful. Young people will find this kind of counseling very helpful as they find their way in the world through identity development, self-esteem, and self-worth. I learned that accepting good things about yourself is not being prideful, but very honest. And this can be a healthy way to self-discover and be aware of inner self. As I grow into the role of counselor, I hope to help people see areas where they can grow and see strengths in themselves. I see through this video that healing can be possible for people through helping them see what is good about themselves. As this is Claire's last session video, the counselor goes through Claire's goals, supports her with feedback, and walks through her next steps. He talks about the 3 wishes she mentioned earlier: more time to prepare for school, wanting a sister, more time with parents. John helps Claire see emotional meanings that her wishes hold. They work on reframing to show that she does not have to be perfect, and she is enough being the person she is, and she does not have to strive for external approval. He tells her that younger sister wish could be her wanting a younger person to look up to her, but she can notice that she already has people that look up to her now. He tells her to ask her parents to spend time together. Ask them to go shopping or go for walks. Claire appreciates that has a safe, judgmental free, confidential space to talk with someone she can trust other than her parents and friends. This video uses cognitive reframing and behavioral experimentation. Claire is able to reframe her thought of needing to work harder into questioning herself. Have I done enough? She pushes back on her perfectionist way of thinking. She figures out what she wants with direct communication with her parents, and the counselor talks her through a behavioral experiment to test her assumptions. She challenges her resilience on internal worries. The counselor helps her find healthier thinking patterns and emotional regulation. This also is shown in the video by expanding on strengths using clear next steps and goals that focus on small changes instead of focusing on negativity and problems. John helps Claire see what is already working now and investigate how she can build on the positive. The Bible gives wise advice about healthy relationships, rest, the unnecessity of perfectionist behavior, decision making, trust, and honesty. Colossians 3:23 says that in anything done, work heartily and do it for the Lord. This would help Claire see that her effort is seen without having to be perfect, and she does not have to live up to other people's standards, but know that God cares for her. Philippians 4:6-7 shows that in giving anxiety to God, she can trust Him and does not have to strive for constant approval. In the videos, Claire learns to see that she is enough, and this is her choosing healthy reflection over perfectionism. I have learned in this video that the closing and counseling is much importance. The ending of the meetings is important because it helps the client get a call to action that is manageable for them. The client is able to reflect on what was discussed, and the counselor can use behavioral experiments to help the client test outcomes to make better choices for their life. The video has shown me that clients can be helped with counseling by discovering the options they already have, but maybe have not thought through before. This can help them make better choices and outweigh the options they have not considered. In my future counseling practice, I want clients to feel free to explore options, and I want to help them move from stuck to action in a respectful way. This video is a session with John and TJ working on his anger management, aggression, and emotions. The counselor does not try to change TJ's behavior right away. He explores what a successful session would look like with TJ. TJ shows a bit of guarded openness. TJ talks about his history of fights, alcohol use, and things that trigger him emotionally. He talks about a fight with his cousin and past use of a weapon. He says using weapons feels like weakness. TJ explains his emotional pain of feeling vulnerable and family conflict as being stronger than physical injury. He keeps saying that weakness is something he rejects. The counselor helps him think about the option that feeling weak may trigger his anger. TJ redefines strength. He makes goals to work on tolerance, being supportive, and being a motivational speaker. He wants to help others in jails, Job Corps, and mental health places. He flipped his thoughts from the beginning of seeing help as a weakness to thinking of it as a strengthening way to get sober, find support, and gain connection. This video shows motivational interviewing as its main idea to lower resistance and help the client find out their own motivations to change. Asking what success looks like to them is an example of this. It is also shown in the exploration of the client's thoughts on his strengths and vulnerabilities. The counselor helps TJ speak out his reasons for sobriety and change. The counselor also supports TJ in talking about change, helping others, and being accepting of support. In this video, TJ is able to define his own strengths without feeling judged or confronted. CBT is also seen here because they identify his triggers, and the counselor helps TJ challenge his distorted thoughts and feelings about his emotions and vulnerabilities. A biblical-based worldview would help TJ reframe his thoughts about strength. It would teach him that true strength comes from his ability to be humble, maintain self-control, and rely on God's presence. The Bible would teach TJ to use self-control over his anger, that there is redemption and transformation in God's love, and that TJ could use his experiences to help others who may be going through similar struggles. James 1:19-20 says, "Listen quickly, speak slowly, and be slow to become angry." This shows that there is wisdom in handling your anger and being emotionally aware. 2 Corinthians 12:9 is an encouragement to people that God's strength can be seen as perfect in our weaknesses. This shows that TJ does not have to feel vulnerable and like a failure when he needs help. I learned that anger is often a secondary emotion that possibly covers deeper pain. This session showed me that it is important not to label clients by their problem behaviors. Hiding under aggression may be strong values, pain, and a possibility for growth. I also learned that challenging clients too much can make them resistant, and motivational interviewing can create self-discovery. In the future, I want to remember that clients who look resistant are usually protecting emotional wounds. Helping them redefine strength can be a major step forward toward healing. This session also reminded me that Christian counseling can help clients see that asking for help is not weakness. In this video, John talks with Lewis about his alcohol use, self-control, and behavior change. John is not confrontational. He asks open-ended questions and explores the positive and negative sides of the alcohol use. Lewis tells John that he likes the social connection he feels while drinking. It is relaxing to him, relieves his stress, and it also helps him unwind after a hard day. Lewis also sees that there are negative sides to this drinking, as he has loss of inhibition, makes bad decisions, loses his self-control, is not able to keep up with his physical and health goals. He acknowledges his problems with alcoholism in the past and that his actions are dangerous. Lewis also talks about his exercise and parenting responsibilities that are part of his motivation to grow and change for the better. He sees importance in keeping emotional balance and not falling into the patterns of poor mood and self-esteem. John uses CAGE screening questions in this video to help Lewis reflect on his behavior patterns. Lewis says that after he has 4 drinks, he starts to lose awareness and self-control. Lewis shows motivation and makes goals to limit his drinking down to 3. Motivational interviewing helps people resolve conflicting thoughts without resistance. In this video, John asks Lewis what he likes about his drinking, what concern he has about it. He lets Lewis see his own limits. He lets him make a healthier choice without making it feel pressured, and gives Lewis the control to decide what goals will work for him. Stages of change model. Lewis follows this model as he is preparing for action. He sees the problem and is working to try to better himself by working on self-control and moderation. A biblical view could help Lewis with self-control, help him gain wisdom, and care for his body and mind. The Bible teaches self-control, self-discipline, decision-making, importance of a sober mind, responsibility, and importance of taking control of bad habits. 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20 tells believers that the body should be cared for and treated as a temple. Proverbs 25:28 also says that a person who has no self-control is like a city with broken walls. This verse gives support to Lewis wanting to maintain moderation and control of his drinking. A biblical view can help people see getting sober as a freedom and care for their body, not a restriction. As I watched this video, I learned that people can be more motivated by setting their own goals and feeling the freedom of making their own choices. The counseling setting was a judgment-free zone where Lewis could truly evaluate how alcohol fit into his life. I learned that the questions asked can be supportive to this process of letting the client explore their options in a respective way. I learned that counseling is best serving the client when they can recognize their own patterns and do not feel that they are being told what to do. A little questioning can go a long way with some people and can create major change. Small steps of change are still change, and Lewis's limiting his drinks shows that he is trying for real meaningful ownership of his change. In the future, I want to help clients make healthier choices and see where they can change on their own rather than make them feel controlled. John uses CBT to approach social anxiety in this video. The client talks about having troubles with speaking within a group of 10 to 12 people. She says she has anxiety during class inclusion activities. She freezes and has a hard time responding. The client made an example of how when she is in class and asked to talk about the most interesting place her shoe has been, but when she gave an awkward example, she spent the rest of the class regretting what she had said and rethought the situation over and over in her mind. The counselor uses the CBT to rethink the situation, rethink the thoughts she was thinking at the time, go over her emotions. He then talks about her behaviors and how they were related to her experience. He helps her see the distorted thoughts she was having of harsh self-criticism and assuming that others would be judging her in a bad way. John asks her how she would speak to a friend in this same issue, and she realizes that she would not judge and she would be kind and compassionate. The counselor helps her with being able to talk to herself with the same respect and encouragement that she would give to others. This video relays what CBT teaches, that being that emotional issues are influenced more by persons' thoughts than by the actual situations. In the video, they work to identify automatic negative thoughts, distorted thinking, unhelpful ideas, and withdrawal. They replace those thoughts with more balanced thoughts, awareness, and positive substitutions. The counselor helps the client move from thinking that she is always embarrassing herself to being okay with sometimes feeling awkward and realizing that she has good stories to contribute. This shows a cognitive shift that lowers her anxiety and helps her feel supported for healthier actions. Self-compassion theory. In this video, the counselor helps the client be able to talk to herself in a way that she would talk to someone else. She is able to respect herself with care and compassion. The Bible would help this client see that she does not need to feel ashamed for being who she is, and her identity is rooted in God. She does not need human approval to contribute to her purpose. She can place less meaning on social performance, see grace as more important than perfectionism, renew her thinking knowing that she can be free from the fear of other people's opinions. Romans 12:2 shows that people can be transformed by the renewing of their minds. This helps to show the importance of changing negative thought patterns. Colossians 1:10 reminds believers that they do not need human approval. When people place worries on God's hands, they let go of fears. They can be renewed with acceptance and God's grace. I have learned in this video that negative internal dialogue can be so harmful emotionally, and shaping that dialogue can help clients take control of their emotional well-being. The client was intensifying her anxiety by internalizing harsh self-judgment. I learned that many people tend to show compassion more easily to others than they do themselves. I want to help clients notice the harmful self-talk and help them find therapeutic ways to change this self-talk. Changing thoughts is not forcing fake positivity. It is helping people see things more accurately and in a loving lens. The Bible and CBT work well together as they are about changing distorted thinking into truth. In this video, the counselor conducts a structured mental status examination. He assesses cognitive functioning, mood, cognitive processes, and perception in the client. He asks questions that start simple and gradually get harder, examines orientation, memory, attention, and insight. Carl has mixed cognitive functioning. Carl recalls information well and can count backward by sevens, so his memory and concentration seem fine. He was confused with the date and current president. He showed disorganized speech and random topics and unrelated details. Carl also said that he hears voices and creates them in his head to deal with intruding thoughts. He seemed to be unconcerned about socially inappropriate behaviors, and he thinks he has been seeing ghosts. He is calm and said his mood is about a 5 out of 10. The counselor was respectful and kept a non-judging space for the client to share as he looked for diagnostic information in the client. Carl's voices he's hearing to help him override his thoughts are his attempts to manage his cognitive distress. even though it is not helpful for him. CBT focuses on the connection between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, emphasizing how distorted thinking patterns can influence emotional functioning and coping responses. Psychopathology models are useful for things Carl is experiencing. His hallucinations, hearing voices, and random thought patterns would follow with psychotic disorders. There is research that says that issues dealing with a person's perception, thought process, and sense of reality are symptoms of psychosis. Cognitive psychology, with Carl's thought processes, disorganized thinking, speech patterns, and his orientation problems, this would bring to mind that he has impairments in his cognitive functioning. Carl and the counselor could use a biblical worldview to be sure that client dignity is upheld. Genesis 1:27 reminds that all are created in God's image. So that, with that in mind, Carl should be treated with respect and compassion no matter what situation. The counselor giving the client hope without judgment shows that people are not defined by their struggles they face. Carl could benefit with prayer and support from the Bible by knowing that he can find peace of mind and truth in God's love. Philippians 4:7. The counselor can help Carl see the difference between truth and what is not real, and helping him renew his mind. Romans 12:2. I have learned that assessment like the MSE are so important in gathering good information from clients' mental abilities. There is much value in staying calm and being non-judgmental, even when the client has concerning or odd thoughts. I learned that verbal and nonverbal observation is important in noting the speech patterns and thought organization of people. I also learned signs to look for in possible psychosis or cognitive issues. By watching this video, I will better be able to assess clients and recognize needs they have. I will be more aware to respond and with empathy when deciding to further evaluate or offer a referral if needed. Thank you for listening to my presentation on interviewing in clinical psychology.